Item 9, public comment for items not on the agenda. It's the council's policy to raise matters in this forum to staff for investigation and/or action where appropriate. The Brown Act prohibits the council from discussing or acting upon any matter not agendized pursuant to state law. And if I just need you to give... Good.
Dan O'Kane, 415 Cedar Avenue again. I complained, at the last meeting, I complained about, they said San Bruno School District, the city of San Bruno wasn't friendly to families in San Bruno. And being that, I showed you a piece of paper where 49 units of water was used. Remember that? And
hard to forget.
Who's Connie Jackson? Is she here?
She's the city manager.
Eh?
She's the city manager. Right
Well,
there.
thank you for sending me all the literature on the pumping of the water now. Thank you very much, but unfortunately, my wife drove away with it in the car, and I don't have it on hand. I understand there's 72 million gallons of water pumped from 5 wells in San Bruno. That's a lot of water. And it costs 28,000, something like that, for electricity, to pump that water. You buy from 2 other agencies. Thank you. Let me see. You buy from 22 million from 5 wells. It costs 29,872 to pump for the pumps. It costs once every 10 years 40,000 to clean the filters. And you buy 1,208,468 from one, and you buy 147,201 from that. So you buy 1,355,669 from various other people. And if I do the calculations, you are buying water. The water is pumped in the well, it's costing about 80 cents per gallon. In my calculations, that may be quite accurate, but it's very close. What I'm saying is, because of that, I have also went to the San Bruno School District, and here's the figures I got from them. Allen School has 640 K through 640 pupils. There's only 355 in the school. Bel Air, K6, 585, 449. Pressmore, K6, 248, 241. El Crystal, K6, 201, 236. John Muir, 480, 328. Parkside, 930, only 572 students in that school. Portola, K6, 434, only 217. Rollingwood, K6, 335, 238. If I do the arithmetic, I find that there's 1,403 additional children could be at these schools. Anyone want to see these figures?
You can give anything you'd like to the clerk. She'll get it distributed.
Now, that's why I said that that the water used are. It seems that I went around various other cities who don't pump water, and that's why I stand by that statement.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
How can you justify, if I get 18 units of water from you, and I use 10 of them in my house, and the other 8 goes on the lawn, how can you tell me that that's going into the sewer? How can you justify saying that's going into the sewer?
Well, there's a season that they measure that, and if you talk to staff, they can explain to you exactly how that's measured. I'm not in a position to do that for you.
I went to the trouble of putting meters on all my homes, and I have got all the facts too.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council?
John Barrelier, North San Anselmo. I guess you saw Sunday's paper, the parade part of it, where it had Scully, the captain who saved 150 lives, and his salary. It had the salaries of various people. He made $100,000. I asked for a list of those city workers who made more than 20% of their salary in overtime. And I have this extensive list, and quite a few made more than Scully did. I'm going to read not the names, but the salaries, which will include the overtime. These are firefighters. $194,220. That included $72,000 overtime. $179,000 and $179,982, including $62,000 overtime. $154,227, including $51,000 overtime. And there are 15 of those firefighters. Going down to the police officers. The highest paid police officer made $173,037 with $70,000 overtime. The second one, $125,258, $38,643 overtime. The point I'm trying to make is that we're in a time of foreclosures and layoffs and cutbacks in universities. There's an increase in unemployment. We're charging fees for sports. There's cutbacks in senior services, schools, libraries, and people who can't pay their taxes. That's up 300% this year. I guess you received the articles that I sent to you, the City Council. No humble servants. Oakland workers hardly humble servants. It turns out there were over 1,000 city workers in Oakland making over $100,000. I kind of agree with our mayor, not our mayor, but San Francisco's Mayor Newsom, although I don't agree with him ordinarily. What he said, the assignment of overtime should be limited to extraordinary circumstances which cannot be anticipated or where staffing requirements cannot be met through normal scheduling and assignment of available personnel. ... We should consider using compensatory time off instead of overtime. And now there's another huge concern of mine. When these men retire, our men, and the retirement is based on the year of the highest earning, have you extrapolated how much they would make in retirement? Isn't that what broke the back of General Motors? Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager?
If it's the council's interest, I can respond on that last issue. Mr. Berlayer asked whether we have calculated the effect, essentially, of overtime on compensation that is received at retirement, whether the inclusion of, overtime is included in the compensation that is used as a basis for the calculation of retirement benefits. And the answer to that is no. Retirement benefits are based on the amount of the base salary, and the amount of overtime that is paid to an individual is not calculated or not included in the calculation of the compensation as it's used for the calculation of benefits in retirement.
Thank you. It should further be pointed out that we do strongly manage the overtime. And while the list of overtime that you have does appear to be large, and it is, and we'd only hope that it was less, the differential in public safety pay for overtime is not much different than regular time. Because overtime, because it does not calculate towards retirement, is not PERSable. In other words, the city does not make a PERS contribution. And currently, the PERS contribution for public safety, that being police and fire, is 0.32%. Okay, so there's not a huge difference between overtime and non-overtime. And there comes a time when overtime is just part of doing business. I mean, there's a time when it makes sense to use overtime versus having 2 or 3 other employees so overtime isn't needed, and paying full benefits. So we're looking at that very seriously. We appreciate your efforts in researching it and even bringing it forward, because I can guarantee you the council will look at it more thoroughly now. But what's put out in the first swash of the paint on the brush isn't always the true story. And so once you dig deeper, I think you'll see that we are managing it and hope to do better. Anyone else wishing to address the council?